JD Vance is crashing out. JD Vance got humiliated. JD Vance made an ass out of himself like we've never seen before. And let me give you some background here. America's at war. Trump is threatening to wipe out entire civilizations, entire bloodlines. He's doing this from Trump. I was going to say from Trump Towers. He's doing this from Truth Social. He doesn't even know what year we're in. He doesn't even know who his wife is. And this man is drunk off of the thrill of the potential opportunity to wipe out an entire civilization for his buddy Bibby. So here's a question you won't ever hear me ask. Where's JD Vance? Usually the answer is, I don't give a fuck. When I don't see him, it's better off. And I usually know the answer to that question too. If I was to ask, he's usually at Disney on one of his umpteenth vacations of the year, or doing some fuck shit. And this time, if you were to ask me, where's JD Vance, Lauren? The answer is he's up to some fuck shit. And this is where he made a complete and total arse out of himself. He was at a rally, feasting, aura farming in front of thousands of screaming supporters. But of course, these were not JD Vance supporters because those people don't exist. Now, there's this one leader. He's been in power 4 years. He's been accused of dismantling democratic institutions, cracking down on the press, blocking critical aid to countries in desperate need. The EU has taken him to court. His own allies are turning on him, and his grip on power is finally starting to slip. Sound like somebody you know? This is not who you think it is that JD Vance went on stage and made a complete fool out of himself on. And we're going to get into it, but real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. If you're new here, we currently, me and Willa Paritra, who's snoozing in her little doggy bed behind me, we currently have a lead on Katie Miller. Katie Miller is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller. She married that pale white nationalist from Santa Monica on purpose. The man behind all of this ICE and immigration terror. The man behind putting children in cages and amplifying family separation. Stephen Little Bitch Miller. She is building a podcast now on the backs of those trafficked children and families. And the least we can do is make sure we maintain our lead out of pure principle. So consider every sub, every follow, every share, every comment, 6 words or more, every 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple and where you get your podcasts. Every action you take, consider that an FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller, because nothing grinds their gears like me maintaining my lead. So, okay, I need to give you some background before we get into this moment where JD Vance makes an absolute asshole out of himself. Here's the thing. Here's what's going on. The president of the United States is threatening to destroy an entire country's power grid and kill an entire country's bloodline of civilians. He's not like, oh, I'm going to go after military targets. He is deliberately saying, I'm going to go after civilians. Tens of millions of people who had nothing to do with any of this, who didn't choose this, who were born into this, who have no place else to go. He posted on Truth Social, a whole civilization will die tonight on Tuesday night. In reference to Tuesday night, he posted this on Tuesday morning. He said it like he was announcing a sale. This man doesn't have any diplomatic language in his teeny tiny little vocabulary. And when a reporter asked him if he was worried about war crimes, he basically changed the subject, forgot what he was talking about, forgot what planet he was on, and started talking about the New York Times circulation numbers. This is where we're at right now. And international law exists specifically because of moments like this. After World War II, the world sat down and said, okay, we can never let this happen again. There has to be rules. You cannot deliberately destroy the water supply of a civilian population. You cannot take out every power plant in a country of 90 million people. Those are rules. They're the floor. And he's standing there on that floor saying it doesn't apply to him. And what makes this so disturbing, so dystopian, is the casual nature in which he's delivering these things on fucking Truth Social. He's not even pretending that this is a surgical or targeted mission, or that he's reluctant, or that he has an ounce of empathy. He's treating the possible annihilation of a civilization like it's a negotiation tactic to him. Now, let's think about the last few years. We had wall-to-wall coverage of a broken Starbucks window during a protest. I heard it from a lot of you too. Politicians gave speeches. We need nonviolence. We can't see another tagged cop car. Cable news ran clips on loops for weeks. I've been pepper bombed. I've seen people beat to the ground by police for simply being in demonstration. The moral outrage I saw on the internet and across the country around a broken Starbucks window, y'all were treating that like the collapse of civilization. Where is the condemnation? Why won't they denounce this? Now let's talk about that. Here we are, a sitting president threatening to level a country of 90 million people, threatening to take out every power plant and bridge, and that same energy, where is that at now? Are we just not as outraged because it's not something that we care about? Because it's the people being threatened are Iranian, they're Arabic, Muslim, brown. There is a significant portion of this country that has been marinating in that culture of hatred and disdain for years, and sometimes not so quietly. I am a 9/11 teen. I grew up in the New York City metro, and I have seen people treat those lives as less. It doesn't start with a president. It starts with your stupid fucking jokes that people let slide on Thanksgiving. I'm just saying, sometimes these Middle Eastern people are a little dangerous, saying off-color comments about Muslims. Every one of those moments, something is building. It gives permission to these types of structures. It tells leaders that there's a ceiling for how much the public will care, and that ceiling gets lower depending on who the victims are. So when you dehumanize a group of people over years and decades, we shouldn't be so fucking surprised when a leader comes through with threats and calls them expendable. He didn't create that. He walked through the door that everyone left open. And that's the part people don't want to sit with. This isn't just one unhinged orange man with a nuclear bomb button and nuclear codes. This has also been enabled by a culture that made space for him, that voted for him, that rallied behind him, that looked at your Arabic neighbors and Muslim lives and collectively decided that they didn't need to feel the same urgency for those people. The outrage machine works perfectly fine when they want it to. We've seen it. It isn't running out right now, and we should ask ourselves, why is that? We're gonna get into the JD Vance humiliation because we need a little bit of reprieve after the heaviness of this, and I'm gonna leave you with some direct actions in the comments. But let's first take a look at this.
I actually had a special guest that asked that I give him a phone call, and we'll see. Let's hope he actually answers. So this is going to be very embarrassing. All right.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
Okay. Try one more time. It's ringing. It's progress.
You can actually see the light leave his eyes. This is the biggest loser shit I've ever seen. You know, Trump just staring at his phone the entire time, being like, I'm not going to answer this. We're going to read some comments from Twitter. This is why our vice president, why is our vice president at a rally for a foreign leader? Foreign leaders do not show up to campaign in other countries for their elections. It violates every norm of diplomatic conduct. It's the kind of thing that if another country was to do that, we'd call it foreign interference because that's what it is. Vance actually said he was there to tell Hungarians how to vote. This man flew across the Atlantic to save Viktor Orban, the EU's longest serving authoritarian and Vladimir Putin's favorite Western leader. So why is America first and our vice president abandoning a brewing war to campaign for this guy? Well, look at this tweet, this post from Representative Ansari out of Arizona, Yasmin Ansari, saying JD Vance is leaking himself to the news saying, I'm against this war. But he's too to admit that out loud, to say that to his boss, because he is a brown-nosing, boot-looking little bitch. So let's talk about Viktor Orban for a second. Prime Minister of Hungary since 2010. And in that time, he has systemically dismantled every democratic guardrail his country had. Independent courts gone. He packed them with loyalists, got rid of the free press, His allies now own most of Hungary's major media outlets. Academic freedom, gone. George Soros funded a university in Budapest. Orban kicked it out of the country. Queer rights, LGBTQ plus rights, constitutionally banned. There's no same-sex marriage. They prohibited queer couples from adopting, and just last year passed a law banning pride events entirely, with facial recognition technology, mass surveillance used to identify anyone who shows up anyway. And on Ukraine, while the rest of Europe is trying to hold the line against Russia, Orban vetoed a 140 billion EU loan to Ukraine. He did this to win votes. He didn't have a better plan. So he openly calls his government an illiberal democracy. That's his own packaging. And right now, heading into Sunday's election, he is losing. Polls show the pro-European opposition pulling ahead. So Trump sent Vance to Budapest to save him. The sitting vice president of the United States campaigning for a foreign authoritarian who is backed by Putin while making a complete and total ass out of himself, while America is threatening Iran with destruction. America first, always, though, right? And if this video has expanded your perspective or you've enjoyed these takes, please take a moment to make sure you're subscribed. As of this week, we are now available wherever you get your podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, give us a rating. We're working really hard to upload all of the favorite classics so that way you can listen. And then moving forward, every YouTube video will be posted, continued at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific time. And you can look out for them in the East Coast time in the morning. And again, Lauren Preacher, Willow Preacher, sneezing. Back with more.